What's good? It's HYB, and yes, I am back on YouTube. We about to log in. I'm about to show y'all how to do a drop fade. So to begin this haircut off, we're obviously, like we always do, what you want to do with every single haircut is comb it out. If it's not in a dread style or in a twist style, you want to get everything lifted up off the scalp first because we are going to be cutting this particular hair, down to a certain length. Our client did have waves. We took them to the wash bowl. You wash it so we can have a clean surface. Um, I do upcharge. I tell my clients to and we're doing 1.5 level all the way close, and this will get it down to a nice length to where it's not light to where you can see the scalp, which your number one guard would probably do, but a 1.5 would keep it just thick enough and at a wavelength to where the client is comfortable and to where you can get a nice clean thick wavelength. But I upcharge $15 because I don't want to wash your hair. Just come to the shop with your hair already clean, bro. And if you want to pay for a wash, you can. I'll do a wash for $15 extra. That's just what I charge. For my services. Now we're gonna take our JRL. We're taking our JRL Ghost. JRL has some of these trimmers and clippers set. I've been coming with them. They are nice. But right here we got the lever all the way open, and we starting that drop fade effect. With this drop fade effect, you want to keep as much. See how I'm at the lower half of the C cup right there. You want to preserve as much as that as possible. Because when doing a drop fade, it's very important to preserve that hair so you can have a nice C cup. It's gonna stand out so well. So you want to really make it like literally like a rainbow type shape, so you can have that curvature. And right here, I'm not notice how I'm not. This is big for y'all beginner barbers or people that struggle with harsh guidelines, man. Notice how my clippers are close to zero gap. They aren't all the way zero gap. This is just so I can set in my ball guidelines or close to ball. It's like literally close to ball. Like I'm talking about the littlest of stubble nobody will ever know. um, I'm setting in with the level all the way closed just so I can set in that guideline and not have a harsh guideline. And when I fade this section out right here, it's just that easy to take it out. I know y'all don't want lines or anything, so it's good that y'all, copy this method, copy these steps. And now right here, I have my lever all the way open in this particular slide right here. And I'm just creating that second guideline. And notice how I'm also following the shape, the overall shape of my first guideline, my first bar guideline that I had set in. You wanna keep the flow. You wanna keep the flow going of the haircut. So if you set in guidelines, keep the flow. However you set in one guideline, you set in the other guideline in that same exact shape. Now right here, I do a process of down fading. Down fading is the easiest system to get a nice blend. So right here, I'm working from lever all the way open to lever all the way closed, slowly closing the notches till I reach that first guideline like I'm doing right now. So you go lever all the way open, well, lever all the way closed, ball guideline, lever all the way open, create the second guideline, and then slowly move the notches down until you reach the first guideline, which will be lever all the way closed at the bottom where that first guideline will be at. And it should just fade clean out at the end. If it doesn't, you can always go back in detail. No no biggie. So look, because I cut our clients down with a 1.5, a lot of y'all have ridge lines. The lines around the parietal ridge, and it just lines that just kind of just stay there and just kind of poke out. And we don't want that. We want a nice flow from the blend all the way into the top of his head. So the guard that I will use will be the number two guard, and that's what we have on right here. Every time we put on a new guard or on a guard, it will start off with the lever all the way open. We're simplifying it right now so y'all can understand. Every guard that I put on, lever all the way open. This is a fire system that works on every single hair texture, no matter the color of the skin, no matter the color of the hair. It really don't matter about the color, the texture of the hair. It don't matter. So right now, we start off with the lever all the way open, number two guard, slowly, and we're slowly working our way down. But keep in mind, this is our 1.5 right here. Now we finally reached the 1.5. And whatever guard you cut the hair down with the grain. First, we cut the hair down with the grain, going with the grain with a 1.5. And then our fading system, whatever guard you cut the hair down with, you go against the grain on the sides and start the fading process going down with this down fading system with the next biggest guard than what you cut the hair down with. So because this video we did the 1.5 with the grain, cut the hair down with that. So now we go 2. This is the fading process now. So number 2 guard, 1.5. Then we move down to our 1 guard, which you see me doing right now. And we all starting every time. So 2 guard, level all the way open, slowly work to the level all the way closed. Then right when we close the number 2 guard at, we put on our 1.5 level all the way open, slowly move down in the blend till we get to level all the way closed. Now, like right here in the video, we're at our number 1 guard, level all the way open. We started with our level all the way open. Now we're slowly working down in the blend till we reach all the way closed. Now keep in mind whenever you're doing these videos, whenever you're doing these types of haircuts, I'm doing the videos, but whenever you're doing these types of haircuts, make sure you have the knowledge or the system inside your head of how many guards do I particularly need to use to get the perfect outcome that I'm trying to achieve, that perfect blend that I try to achieve. Before I even did any of the blending, when I first cut his hair down with that 1.5, I already knew my guard systems and what guards I was gonna have to be using. I don't want to start off with that 2 guard up top and then try to end my blend in my down fading blend and then end with where I had set that second guideline in, or where I had set that second guideline at. It just wouldn't blend. So you have to make sure you have enough room for each guard or fade, like if you're fading from 2 and slowly moving down from the guards all the way to no guard. So, and we did use the point 0.5 guard. That's the smallest guard at the bottom of the blend. And now we're just slowly just detailing, man. Detailing is what y'all detailing is what's gonna take y'all's blend to that next level, to that next stage. And y'all, I'm recording everything just how it is. I'm not trying to pause, get the perfect recording and stuff like that. I'm just letting it roll off my tongue, letting it just come off the top of my head for off my brain. And this is the blend. As y'all can see, that's a fire blend. And this is the other side that we haven't done yet. So what I like to do one side, my most dominant side, which would be my right side. That's the side I feel most comfortable on. The right side of the client's head when it comes to the blend. I always start on the right side. I am right-handed. And then right here, I just want to point this out. This is a technique that I use. We have a 1.5 on, but if you tilt the blade up just a little bit, it can act as a 2. It can act as a 2 all the way closed or somewhat around there, so you can remove guidelines like that. And now we're just following the same exact processes and steps that we did on one side. So I like to do the right side first, then the left side, and then I come back to the middle and I just merge the two. This is what gives me more evenness in my haircuts, and it kind of just lets me lock in on one portion of the haircut and not drag on time or take too long trying to you know spin the client all the way around and keep having to spin back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until I finally get the blend. I get to focus and concentrate and lock in on one side. Then I like to replicate or match the opposite side that I haven't gotten a chance to work on yet, that I'm about to work on with the side that I've already done. And then I just simply merge the two in the back. And any perfections, I just slowly just take them out over time. And right here, this is a perfect example. Y'all just watching it in real time. Me just fading this fade out, man. This is a fire clean fade. Obviously, when y'all do fades, bro, don't get discouraged when doing your fades. Everything won't turn out perfect the first time. And make sure I have a clean canvas. A clean canvas is big to getting, these super perfect haircuts, y'all. So clean skin, clean scalp, that creates perfect, crisp lineups for y'all. So But right here, we're just slowly moving down, putting the clipper to work. We're not using the trimmer yet, but we putting all of it to work. And we're gonna use a different trimmer in this video. The JRL trimmer, I like the trimmer, but I use it mostly as like it's not, it's zero. Mine's is zero gap, but it's not. It don't hit like one of the trimmers that I have, which is my favorite trimmer of all, well, not of all time, but my favorite trimmer that I'm using right now, my current my FX, my navy blue Babyliss FX ones, the Snap FX. So man, the Snap FX is perfect. The Snap FX, you can literally have like two batteries, have one on the charger, and whenever the battery dies, you just pop it out, snap the other one in there, and then you just ready to go. It's really convenient, y'all. Very convenient. And right here, we're taking that point 0.5 and just working at the bottom of that blend, y'all. So and y'all, I've been working out lately. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I just been getting the mental right. I'm trying to move on to that next stage in my barbering career. There's a life beyond the chair that most don't pursue it. You don't have to pursue it, but there's most definitely a life beyond a chair that you can work towards, and you can. I'm just trying to squeeze the full aspect of barbering out of barbering. So because cutting hair all day, standing up, I didn't cut 27 clients in a day, 25, 20, 17, all in the same week for real. And it is not fun doing it all day. And today we didn't have that day we didn't have no hot towels, so I'm doing a simplified line prep. If y'all want to see a more advanced line prep, y'all can, lock in. But as you can see right here, we're starting at the top of the C cup, and then working our way from the bottom, and then connecting the two. But this is the simplified, this is my simplified technique right here for getting a crisp lineup. It's not just the trimmers, it's the line prep that's going, lock everything in and mold it so y'all can get that fire look that y'all want. But all we did was some alcohol, cotton swab, wipe the client down. It is super duper cold in the shop. That's one thing you have to have in your shop is cold air, bro. I kid you not. If you ain't got no cold air, even if your client's not physically sweating, me as a skilled barber that's been doing this for a long time, almost every day, cutting, hundreds of thousands of clients a year, I feel when the skin is like moist or somewhat moist. 72 degrees in your shop, not gonna get it. 70 degrees, you borderline pushing it at 70 degrees. I'm trying to tell y'all, 68, 60, 69 or lower, bro, you're gonna get perfect ash lines. And what I do right here, what I was doing, I basically match both sides so we can have evenness in the C cup, as y'all can see right here. And I'm just gonna go in, boom, and I use my Murano comb. I know y'all seen that measuring comb. I use that measuring comb to get them vertical bars in the same exact place or same exact placement. That is big. Obviously, if you have a keen eye, you can't use it like that. Even with this Murano comb, you can mess up with this Murano comb. I don't feel like both ear placements on a human being are even, but you can get somewhat of a close, you know, evenness and then tweak it yourself if needed. So with the front lineup, I use his eyebrows. I like to go to a middle point or a middle connecting point, and I just go up and I start this lineup like that, working my way towards the weak side. Obviously, our client luckily has a full lineup, so I get to work towards my dominant side, which was that right side, and then now I'm slowly kind of working towards my left side, then back to my right, kind of just making sure everything is straight. I kind of like to work to both sides now, but more so lean towards the weak side. The reason why you will work with the weak side is because, and make sure y'all setting y'all vertical bars, slanting. But the reason why y'all will work to your weak side first is because if the weak side is the side that typically doesn't grow as much as the other side. But the reason why you wanted to work to that side first, because if you need to do a professional pushback, you will know or be knowledgeable, to do that. So You work towards that side first, and if you need to take that strong side back, the side that grows the most amount of hair, you can do so. It's nothing wrong with slightly pushing the client back, and this is an all natural haircut, y'all. I'm like, I hope this is a fire video. This is a hitter. Most people cannot do this. Most people need enhancements. Most people they could do this and it don't look this clean, y'all. So hopefully y'all like this all natural haircut. Be different, stand out, be the barber that don't use enhancements in the time of all enhancements, in the time of all barbering just being one of the top careers right now. But hopefully I like this video. Make sure I smash the like button, and it's HYB if you're not handling your business and what you're doing, and we out.
Benny, please don't do anything crazy.